sometime in early March 2017. This is Outside the Lines. Now, sitting in for Bob Lee, Jeremy Schaap.
So often in the world of journalism, news comes to us from an anonymous source. Someone with intimate knowledge of a situation feels the need to address that situation. On the eve of this upcoming NCAA tournament, ESPN received such a tip. Unfortunately, the whistle that was blown came from an internal investigation. Something, indeed, is rotten in the state of Bristol.
Bristol, Connecticut, the home of ESPN, a place and a culture steeped in sports knowledge. Like so many of their fellow Americans, every year dozens of ESPN commentators participate in that rite of spring known as bracketology. In 2016, for example, 60 men and women took part. Among them, a few stood out for their predictive excellence, especially SportsCenter host Scott Van Pelt.
It's dedication to craft, it's preparation, it's studying, it's watching just a ton of college basketball that no one else watches, like the worst leagues.
For every pick Van Pelt got right, however, there were others whose crystal balls failed not only them, but the American people. They are the subject of our story.
I think picking a bad bracket is almost as bad as the entire focus of this interview.
What do you mean?
This is
a valid line of questioning.
No, this is one of the dumbest things in the history of ESPN, what's happening right now.
What did Hunter Thompson say? The TV business is a long plastic hallway, a money trench, where pimps and thieves run free and good men die like dogs. But there's also a bad side. And the bad side is filling out brackets.
I think the first mistake is always thinking you know more than you do.
How do good people, good TV people anyway, end up filling out bad brackets? Every March, ESPN bracketologist Joe Lunardi is unavoidable.
Well, if I took a test in, astrophysics, I'm a pretty smart guy, but I would fail. So I think arrogance and not knowing what you don't know is the worst mistake.
Not surprisingly, those responsible for the 4 worst brackets of 2016 were reluctant to talk to us. SportsCenter host Michael Eaves, the 3rd worst prognosticator, was in the makeup room when we caught up with him.
Did you take this seriously?
Jeremy, I take everything in my career seriously, from reading the best highlights to having the best makeup applied. I take it very seriously. But let me ask you a question, Jeremy Schaap. How do you define greatness?
Doug Kazarian, the 4th worst picker, also a SportsCenter host, was in the newsroom and struck a less defensive pose.
I should just read the shot sheet. Read the teleprompter. Don't try to outsmart the others.
I beat people.
2 people.
1 is a person. 2 is people. I beat people. I beat Michelle Beadle. I beat Ryan Russillo. They are experts in everything that comes out of their mouth, and I beat them in the college basketball bracket.
Do you feel there should be some kind of disclaimer, when we
No,
put
there should
these
be a
things
trophy.
online?
There should be a trophy that has Michael Eaves better than Michelle Beadle, Ryan Russillo.
Some of our colleagues owned up to their failings, but Ryan Russillo, the 2nd worst picker at ESPN, repeatedly ignored our requests for comment. In his office, which we entered without permission, we found evidence of a cluttered mind. Finally, we were able to confront him on the air.
I was alerted that we were doing a Jeremy Schaap piece, and I thought maybe, what's next for FIFA, Olympic bidding, and I was kept in the dark, and this is seriously not as glamorous or prestigious, Jeremy, but it appears I was terrible at something last year.
Of the 60 people on air at ESPN who filled out brackets last year, 58 of them were better than you.
Well, I would like to blame Yale.
For the first time ever, the Yale Bulldogs have won an NCAA tournament game.
I would like to blame Indiana.
Hold on. Jeremy, can I ask a question?
Please.
Who was last?
Finally, we ambushed the worst bracketeer at the network. She was, in a word, unapologetic. And we're joined now from our Los Angeles studios by Michelle Beadle, whose bracket was the worst at ESPN in 2016. We're also joined by frequent OTL guest Dave Zirin, the sports editor of The Nation magazine.
What does it say about the state of our industry, our profession, that there are people, professionals, who are so bad at this?
Well, I believe that it actually speaks well for Michelle Beadle, the fact that she is the worst picker in all of ESPN land.
Well, what do you want me to say for myself, Jeremy? I mean, I'm bad at brackets. I don't care. Guess what? Last time I checked, my contract's not about doing brackets. And if I was good at guessing at stuff, which is exactly what bracketology is, I would have won so many lottos by now, I wouldn't even be sitting here for this stupid interview.
It actually says something positive about her mental acuity, that she is not good at this idiotic process known as bracketology, otherwise known as what pays for Mike Krzyzewski's boat.
Good luck filling out your brackets. None of you know what you're doing. And most of you, if not all, except for one lucky person, probably a 6-year-old somewhere in Wisconsin, is going to win. That's it.
Thank you, as always, for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
In today's OTL poll question, who will be the worst NCAA tournament picker in 2017? A. Michelle Beadle, B. Ryan Russillo, C. Trey Wingo, or D. The Field. Results will probably be suppressed.
This has been a presentation of Outside the Lines. All rights reserved, preserved, and never to be seen again on ESPN.